No, I got to lean in.
What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday night. Thank you so much for joining us as we recap episode 4 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. If you find yourself a return viewer, thank you so much for coming back. If you are returning and have not yet liked and subscribed, please do so right now. If you find yourself on our channel because you see us being promoted by other blogs trying to get a name for themselves off of our channel's name, please feel free to like and subscribe and go to our page and watch all the other videos. We would love to have you as a returning subscriber.
We see y'all.
Hey. How are you doing, Tez? Welcome back to the panel.
I'm good. And, it's not about me today. It's about you because it's what your
birthday. It's my birthday.
Yes, it is.
It's my birthday.
But I'm doing good. I'm happy
I
to be
can see that you didn't care that it was my birthday because you have Chad here.
Yeah, he kind of snuck into the back.
Okay, cool. This feels like a scheme set up by Sammy to come at me with the bullshit.
Maybe it was.
Who's to say? Hi, Chad. Good to see you. We haven't been on a panel in a year? Since I think Beverly Hills wrapped.
It hasn't been that long.
It's probably been since Jen Shaw went to jail around that time.
So last winter. So yeah, 5 months or so. Damn. Wow.
Damn.
Can you pretend like you miss me?
I heard she almost out.
Oh no way! It was Ultimate Girls Trip.
Oh yeah,
it was.
I forgot that.
Yeah, it was.
I forgot that.
You showing old age showing?
She didn't shut up. She didn't get out. She's going to be sharing a cell right next to Tory Lanez.
Oh,
they're gonna be jump roping in the schoolyard together.
I wonder will Iggy be trying to get her out too.
That Iggy Azalea is the new Kim Kardashian.
Hey, by the way, Chad, love.
No, it's not. I wrote her off.
Check the receipts.
I wrote her off. We done.
Chad, Iggy Azalea is to Chad what Jenny was to me.
Very much so.
Just embarrassed us, bitch. Embarrassed us.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, thank you to everybody. We see the returning people. I see you, Sammy. Hey, Sammy. How's it going? Kevin, thank you so much. Ashley, we got Robo's Adventure. Hey, Sasuke and Art World. Thank you guys for joining us. The episode was a slow burn. There wasn't really a whole lot going on. We finally got a little bit of a filler episode, but I think for me, the two main girls that we were looking to get a little more backstory on, we got it. So for the most part, I'm happy about it. It was good. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. They're still on this goddamn trip. Like, my God, you would have thought that it was, one of the bigger franchises, the way they're dragging this out. But okay, cool. I like it. And for once, they all seem to, they're getting along. They wake up, Brynn's in Aaron's bed. They're all kikiing. They're all joking. They go downstairs, finally, like an autonomous adult. Aaron decides that she's going to make shashuka, whether anybody wants it or not. Great, cool, stop. Because once again, Sai is complaining about being hungry. Jenna comes in for breakfast at 8 a.m., dripping in diamonds. And for me, after all the shit that these girls put her through, I thought that was just like such a subtle, do y'all have all of this that you could be making shashuka with? So I enjoyed it. So yeah, it was good to see them kind of getting along. Ubah is talking about her business endeavor. Ubah Hot. I didn't know that she was an entrepreneur. I didn't know she had that. And this was kind of what I was waiting to see for her. Like, we had been talking, like, okay, she gives friend of energy. She's kind of the comedic relief. So it was really cool to see her talk about like the business that she kind of started from the ground up and see her get excited about it being featured on Oprah's Favorite Things and how she wants to take it to the next level. So this is what I wanted to see from her. Erin kind of talks about how she's grateful for not having to host Thanksgiving this year because she really doesn't get along great with her in-laws. She says that she's a little annoying. They stop by unannounced, which kind of leads Brynn to talk about a little bit about her upbringing, how she wouldn't mind to have some family around. And apparently she wasn't raised by her parents, her biological parents. Her grandmother adopted her and her siblings and raised her. The ladies kind of ask her to give a little more background, and you can see Brynn becomes immediately, uncomfortable. Like, the discomfort on her face is palatable. She starts to tear up, and she just kind of teeters off and says, like, oh no, it's fine. I don't really want to talk about that. I end up going out of the country for holidays anyway, and it's all, a lot of avoidance. Apparently she's been engaged 3 times. Gideon is his name, I believe. They show him, and he's actually, he's really handsome. And from what Erin says, she likes him. He's a really nice guy. And so the scene ends with Aaron kind of saying everybody's leaving. She goes, I know that everybody's kind of ready to get home. I'm pretty sure Jessel can't wait to get the fuck out of here. And production immediately comes to a scene of Jessel saying, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. So I thought that was fun. So what do y'all think about the little bit of the background into Ubah and Brynn that we got just now? Chad.
Like you said, I have been waiting on some background from Ubah mainly, just because I had kind of done a little research on Brynn. But with Ubah, I thought it was very refreshing because she was kind of giving friend up energy initially, but we got to see, that side of her and see that she does have stuff going on that can compete with the other ladies. And she is drop dead gorgeous. Every time I see her in a confessional, it's like, I'm really just like mesmerized because she is that pretty. But I thought that was pretty good. Brynn's story is heartbreaking for one, just because, nobody wants to have like no family. And I thought like maybe she would at least be close to her siblings, but it doesn't seem like it at all. So it's just kind of like, yeah, poor baby. I kind of watched the episode, just feeling bad for her. Actually feeling bad for her and Ubah, because of course, Ubah talks about her stuff as well, but we'll get there. But overall it was a, good scene. Like you said, opening up, Ubah Hot was pretty dope. I thought it was dope that she was on Oprah's Favorite Things, because that's pretty much a big deal. You get in on that Oprah Favorite Things, you got all the Caucasians that's paying attention. So hey,
they don't eat spicy stuff, you know that. What about you, Tez?
My takeaway from this scene, honestly, is that what I do like about this is that, some show. So it's a reboot, right? But really, it's almost like a new show because they're all it's a fresh cast, right? And a lot of times, like I remember when we started recapping Salt Lake City, it was very good, but they just kind of came right in. We didn't know much about them. But what I'm learning with this is that we're learning about them, and they're learning about each other. They don't. They're it is in which is more organic. I'd rather see that because 2-3 seasons from now, if they're continued to be renewed, it's going to be chaos. So at least we have this good foundation of okay, this is when they had just met each other, and you can really we can like when the drama starts to really get crazy in season 3 or 4, whatever, we know where they started for real with each other. And so that was my only takeaway. I did, I found this scene to be very interesting for Ubah as well because we are learning more about her. I feel like episode 1 or 2 was kind of like more, but it's coming out. I'm kind of like warming up to her too because I wasn't here last week for last week's recap, but watching her and that trainer just made me just smile because she just was so like, she was fun, she was flirty, so that was good too. And then Brynn too, like Brynn. We talk about her. We'll talk about her situation later, but I'm growing a liking for them. Even if I don't like them by the end of the season, I can at least say I appreciate them for getting on the show and sharing their story and being authentic in that way. Because this is probably the most diverse cast I feel like Bravo has ever had.
Yes.
Everybody has something about them that's just not, ethnicities, all type of races. So I love it. I think it's like a good step in direction for Bravo.
Yes.
So, yeah.
We said it, I think, last week or the week before that this reboot actually, it's more authentic to what New York is now, the picture that New York paints now, and where Housewives, the original New York, maybe wanted to give like a Sex and the City vibe. I feel like this incarnation gives more of like a Harlem vibe. It's young, 20, 30-something, Black and brown predominant women, like going out, doing stuff, making a name for themselves, and just their energy definitely is a lot different than the original Boot. And in that sense, it does feel like a new show. And I agree with Chad, like any episode that y'all will see me on for this recap, like Ubah at 8 a.m. sitting down eating breakfast, like there is no reason you should look the way that you look. Like,
right. Gorgeous.
It's a mess, but I love her, and I'm glad that we got to see a little bit of backstory for her. And it didn't come off fake either. Like she legitimately, this is what I built. Like for her to be an immigrant and to come here and to build herself from the ground up and be able to reach that level of success that she made is something that I really hope that they focus on more. And with that being said, we go into Aaron showcasing some of her work, the business where she renovates and she flips. And I will say, I said this in episode 1, Erin has really good taste when it comes to decorating. I loved her apartment there in New York. I loved the summer house that they went to. I really enjoyed seeing the switch into work mode. Her talk about it. Sai has been talking about it. Obviously, we all know who Jenna Lyons is. And I think for a while, Housewives is kind of lost like women who work and who hustle and who build themselves up. I think now that they're celebrities, like their job is capitalizing off of their Bravo celebrity. And it's been a minute since we've seen wives work and show what they do. So I really enjoyed this. We see this next scene was where, for me, it took a turning point with Brynn, where she's in the hair salon. She's kind of giving us a little bit of her backstory. This is where she confirmed she's biracial. I know we've had some conversations in previous recaps, but she did confirm she's biracial. She was raised by her white grandmother, and they start talking a little bit about her hair and her connection with her hair. Now, her grandmother didn't know how to take care of a biracial little girl with her hair texture until someone that worked with her grandmother told her about this hair salon that she needed to take her to. So she said every week her grandmother would drop her off and leave her there all day for her to be able to get her hair done. And this was where, according to Brynn, this is kind of where she connected with the Black side of her identity, and not being able to get that with her grandmother. Her grandmother may have done that to kind of get a little break for the kids, but Brynn said she really counted that as a turning point for her and her identity. So obviously this is not something I can speak to. So I'm going to let you guys lead this conversation. What was that like, seeing her talk about that and confirming kind of her story?
For me, I thought it was pretty dope, for one, that Bravo showed that, because a lot of stuff ends up on the editing cutting room floor, and we don't get to see a lot of the actual good stuff. But it was important, and I thought that it was great that she opened up about it, because for a while, when they first announced the cast and when they showed like pictures, everyone automatically assumed she was a white woman. So it was good to see that she has a Black hairstylist, that can actually deal with her hair. Shout out to her grandmother. I think her name is Darlene.
I think so. I don't remember.
I think it was Darlene, but shout out to her, because it also takes a knowledgeable and willing, white person to acknowledge a mixed child and, the things that they need and that they can't provide for them growing up. I also felt, I always had this little like thing for mixed kids, especially the ones who are very white identifying, who you don't really know. I always have this thing for them, because I get it, even though I'm not in that same boat. I get it, because it's like you don't really have a connection with either side for the most part. But to hear that her parents weren't really in her life, and I know she made a comment where she said the people that were supposed to love her didn't, and then she corrected it and said, well, the people that were supposed to love her couldn't. It was kind of tough to watch, just because, as we said with the first scene, you could visibly see how much it affects her. So it really brought a human side to her that I wanted to see. So I thought that was a very, very important scene.
What about you, Tess?
I like this scene. Love the beats. Now, I will say this is just me. This is my square. I think this is the first time where she kind of mentioned or hinted that her father was not in the picture. And so, whereas I still appreciate everything she shared, I hated to hear that, because her father was the Black man. And I was just like, damn, because I hated that. Because I'm interested in her story and her background, and her being Black and white, but it would mean a lot more. It would mean a lot more to me if he was in the picture. We would actually, she would be able to, because she is mixed with Black, but based off this conversation alone, she does not have much, culture in that area. And so for me personally, I can't appreciate as much as I would want to. Yes, she is, but it seems like she knows it and she's mentioned it, and she kind of, even though she is mixed with Black and white, she lies more close to white to me.
But how else is she supposed to like lean?
Well, no, and it's not her fault, but unfortunately, she missed out on a lot. She missed out on a lot that she could have, been more in sync with that side of her. And unfortunately, outside of a perm, what can she really say other than her father's black? She went to a white school. She, her grandmother was white, raised her, so it seems like she was raised as a white girl.
I did notice in one of the scenes she said, in the scene with the hairstylist, she was saying that I noticed that she every time she mentioned like the black women in the shop, she would say she would always refer as them and they, and it was almost kind of like I didn't really like that because it was like you kind of take yourself out of the equation. And it's like at the end of the day, you are kind of like you are black or whatever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It seems like she kind of plays a very safe line because she doesn't want even though she's black, right? She doesn't want to overstep it, knowing that she doesn't have that true experience of being raised by someone that's black, and it's not her fault. But she, like with that statement right there, she tiptoes in that area. Although at the end of the day, she is indeed black. So
I hopefully they develop or show more of her and how she deals with being biracial, and not only biracial but a white passing biracial. Because that would be very interesting to see, because it's a big topic that always arises on social media, Facebook, Twitter a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see how it develops and how social media reacts to it, because I did the hashtag of, Real Housewives of New York, and it was so many people that were like, yeah, she needs to identify as white. She's not a black woman. She's not a black woman. It was just like, I don't really know how to really take that, because it's like we always strip everybody of their identity based off of what we feel like it should be.
Yeah.
And we've had these conversations on this show before regarding, passing and colorism and what quantifies as blackness and stuff. And everybody has shared multiple viewpoints on this. I will say, for me, I found it interesting that everybody by now knows that there were supposed to be 7 housewives, and there was an altercation or a conversation that happened between the housewife who was asked to leave and her husband, with the N-word being said or repeated. And it was Brynn who actually confronted her and her husband about some of their viewpoints. And she was the catalyst that led to this other person leaving. So when I heard about that, when I said, oh, she's a biracial woman or whatever, I was picturing something completely different. And then when I see, I was like, which was it? Was it Sai? Was it this girl's the one that got in the fight? And as I learned their names, I was like, wait. So it is going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because one, we know Bravo doesn't necessarily always have the range or the license or the ability or even the desire to tell accurate stories when it comes to color and experiences and things of that nature. We've seen it play out on others. So it's interesting to see how this goes, particularly because her and Sai, the other women, are no longer friends anymore. I'm not sure if her and Ubah still seem to be in a good place.
I know that her and Sai now, but I think somebody said in the comment like a couple of seconds ago that she's not on good terms with anybody right now.
She was on Watch What Happens Live, and she was speaking highly of people and sticking up for them. So maybe she's trying to do some damage control.
Apology tool. I don't know.
Listen, but it's also interesting. I want to hear a little bit more of her backstory, because in that scene at the hair salon, she made it seem like blackness and how she grew up, that hair salon was the very first time that she was ever immersed in that particular culture, like Tez said. And so I want to know, as an adult, because her ex-boyfriend was white. I want to know what was she doing to immerse herself and know women like this? Has she been in a diverse group of women, the way that she is in now? Like what has she done to kind of figure out who she is and find her place and stuff? So, that
Instagram is very white.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it, but
that Instagram is very white. I love me some Brynn, but that Instagram is very white.
Really quickly, so I didn't know the whole backstory, but per Chase, we're gonna say allegedly because I don't know if this is true, but I think this may be true. It says Brynn said the N-word and Lizzie's husband repeated it. Brynn confronted him on it, and all hell broke loose. So
so the story on that is the New York Post wrote that there were some views regarding Lizzie, who was a matchmaker, only setting her clients up or preferring to set her clients up with other Jews because Jews want to continue on creating families with Jews, and Brynn likened that to the Holocaust. Lizzie got offended and thought she was being racist, and Brynn said that would be like you saying the N-word, except she said it, or me only saying I don't want anybody who's not black. And then they called HR. Lizzie's husband repeated it verbatim, and Bravo production said, no, this is not what we're doing. This is not what we're doing. And then, of course, the story came out that they were the victim of anti-Semitic violence and conveniently left out the other part. So that was good PR. Very good PR. Allegedly. All allegedly. According to the New York Post. I just read the stories. All right, moving forward. So then we get into Ubah talking a little bit more about expanding her business, which I really, really enjoyed this scene. She had a plan. She was very excited to take this to the next level. I can see why she would have signed up for Housewives. This was a perfect platform for her to showcase what it is that she's working and try to push this forward. She's talking to this woman who kind of reads like a mother figure, like a mentor to her. And that's when she kind of intimates that she is feeling lost without her mother. Her mother had passed, what was it? She said
2012.
2012. So about a decade, and she's been without her mother, and you can tell that she's feeling lost. She's not really sure how she should move forward. She's feeling a little not really confident in what she should do. And this is what I wanted to see from Ubah, the realness and the rawness and the where do you come from? What is your story? We all love a funny sidekick. We love a beautiful woman who can flirt or whatever, but like, what is the substance to it? And this broke my heart a little bit, because it is always the people that laugh the loudest and the people that try to take up the most space in the room that are kind of masking those insecurities or masking that pain a little bit more. So this scene right here is kind of what I want for Kiki and Miami. Like, I want to get to know Kiki the way that Ubah is letting down her walls a little bit and letting us get to know her. What did you think about that, Chad?
Same. I thought it was, a good intro to the backside of Ubah versus, like you said, what we see. Because of course we see beauty and we see that she's a model and all that, but it was good to see her in the light of showing where she is mentally, because losing a mother obviously is, something that a lot of people deal with and a lot of people are dealing with, and people are dealing with it differently. So to see that she's still, 10 years later, still like yearning for her mother to be there, I thought that was very, it was touching. I'll say that. I don't want to go too much into it, but it was very touching to see that she, she wants her mom around. And I'm sure now where she is now versus in 2012 is completely different. So it's like to see her mom be there will probably be, supportive and mean the world to her. So I thought that was, just a good scene that Bravo showed again. It's a good opening scene of her dialogue for the season.
I hope it continues. I hope it's not period. Okay, cool. We gave Ubah a scene. What about you, Tez?
I will say Kiki could never. Okay.
Not Kiki could never.
And I like Kiki, but Kiki, to me, I'll say this is a different show. Her intro to being with more depth would have been her sharing more about her recent divorce when she came onto the show, because it was fresh. I'm just saying that your opening and how you present yourself and how you share your story, it's not always about parents and family. It can be. For her, it depends on what's happening at that time. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's just Kiki. As far as Ubah, I don't really have much to say about this scene. Nice scene, beautiful gown. I still want more, and hopefully I get more. That's just kind of where I'm at with her at this moment.
We know we're gonna get more.
Yeah, she's funny,
yeah.
And so that's a foot in the door for me.
I find myself, and it's the same thing with other franchises that try to be diverse. I find myself gravitating more to the black and brown characters because I want them pushed and prioritize the way that production will prioritize the white women on the show. And that's not a dig to Aaron or Jenna. I really do enjoy them both. But if you have the opportunity to have a diverse cast the way that this is, and women of all different backgrounds, like, you need to give adequate time to really push forward some of the women that, I mean, let's be honest, other than Atlanta or Potomac, we're not seeing women that are Black or brown doing it on TV. I mean, Miami is semi-diverse, but those are all white Latinas. So, like, the Latinas, but they're all blonde hair, blue eyes. So, like, what diversity are we talking about?
Are you saying we need, like, Black Latinas like Sammy over on Miami?
Oh my God.
We're done. Cut the cameras.
Sammy is Latina, okay?
She swears. All right. So we have Sai. She's talking to her husband. She wants to do a Friendsgiving in order to keep kind of Brynn here for the holidays. The two of them have really connected, which is what makes their fallout a little harder for me to digest, because they have very similar backgrounds. They, you know, she feels connected to Brynn due to their humble beginnings and due to their struggle and really coming from nothing and making something of themselves. And we've seen over the last 4 episodes, Sai really has kind of like stuck right by Brynn and is always considering her and kind of going to her and coddling her. And it's kind of that motherly instinct that I think Brynn really gives off that she has a need for. So while she's talking to her husband about this, Jessel is talking to her husband. She's excited to get her kids the fuck out of that house. Her and her husband they agree they need to get the kids to preschool, but they don't really see eye to eye on education. Jessel wants to send them to, like, what is it, the Montessori like development prep school, which is a great school. But he's like, we could also just send them to, like, public school and be done with it. So they're obviously not seeing eye to eye on where to send the kids. And honestly, this scene, it gives very much what I thought it would give. Jessel really gives, like, she wants to send those kids to the most prestigious, like, uppity type education. Her husband seems very much just like, okay, what does it matter? She starts talking about wanting to go to the Hamptons. Even though she didn't have that great of a time, she says she felt like a sacrificial lamb, saying that she felt she was ganged up on. And her husband immediately says, well, maybe it's the way you come off to people. And
yes.
This scene made me laugh. And again, this scene made me really love Jessel. And I think that she is a fantastic housewife because her complete lack of self-awareness and how people view her is the stuff that, like, iconic housewives are made of. Like, she literally could not believe what her husband was saying to her. And he said, you know, she asked, you know, are you calling me a bitch? And he says, no, I would never say that. However, sometimes your tone of voice has those tendencies. So it was very interesting to see their dynamic. And I think that, you know, last week we talked about them not having sex. And she says that they started out as friends and it wasn't really a romance story. And then we get this scene and it's like, well, damn, are y'all on the same page in anything? Chad, what did you think of Miss Jessel not understanding that she comes across the way she comes across?
So I called in to the first episode when we all did the recap, and I said that Jessel was going to be the housewife that was going to annoy the hell out of me, but in a good way. And that episode last night showed exactly why, because I was sitting here like, girl, you cannot be serious. But I was loving every moment of it because she was really delusional. I was like, she's really serious right now. And he's looking at her like, girl. Yeah. So that scene, I was happy that we had that scene because it definitely proved my point. I think that I saw a lot of people like saying that her and her husband would like end up being like the first divorce from the show and such and such and such. I disagree. I feel like her and her husband get each other because they started out the way that they started out. And I feel like the way that they interact works for them. And same with Sai and her husband. They seem like a lot of fun. They seem like they love to be around each other, which I love to see. But Jessel, she has a lot to offer, I can tell. And I can tell she's going to give us a lot of the moments from the season where it's like, did she really just say that? So I like Jessel.
Tez?
I don't like or dislike Jessel, to be honest. She's kind of coming into her own on the show already. And I'm appreciative of that. You know, I will say I agree with what you were saying, Jamie, as far as like her being delusional and just being like this snobby little lack of self-awareness type of woman. However, the issue that I have with that is that when she's confronted, as they're clearly going to, I don't think she's going to rise to the occasion, because I enjoy a housewife who is delusional, lacks self-awareness and all these things, right? But when they're confronted, they somehow come out of that corner still just as delusional as they were. But it gives us a moment. I think Jessel in this moment, although she has those characteristics, she was kind of given, they were jumping on me, they were coming at me. It was kind of being kind of a victim. And I don't think she's going to be able to be that bitch that she really wanted her husband to say that she was. Because she said that because she feels like she is one, right? I don't think she's going to live up to that. But she's cool. I do appreciate her in this cast, because they all are kind of snobby in their own little way. But and that's why I also don't get why they're like making her to be like she's the worst. Because to be honest, Sai could be looked at in the same way.
Sai's been complaining every episode about everything.
Sai has been complaining just as, and I love Sai, but she's been doing the exact same thing. I think that Jessel is just a lot louder, and she's not expected to be. So because of that, she gets, the bad end of things. But I don't mind Jessel.
Her choice of wording to call herself a sacrificial lamb. I was like, nobody beat you up. Like, no, like what exactly led you to believe this? They said you were rude. I think she's a beautiful woman. I saw her. I think what was it? The Marie Claire that she was just on the cover of, or the digital Marie Claire something. She's a gorgeous, gorgeous girl. I love the fact that from her, I want a little more of her background as well. Again, we have diverse cast members. We've got people that are from different ethnic backgrounds. Excuse me. I want to see that, showcase that. Give us something to show the melting pot that is New York. This isn't. Give me a reason to differentiate this from the original incarnation, because right now all it is just pseudo rich women with just slightly different shades of brown. Like, you're not giving me enough culture yet so far.
But you don't want to. I mean, this is Housewives. You don't want it to be Culture Wives. Like, I think that they're everybody's backstory won't always be where they come from. It will be backstory to whatever the present situation is. And I think her situation, I think what we're learning about her is that she is learning about herself and her husband and her, they're having issues. So I think that, we got a bit of her backstory as it relates to her mom and as it relates to her marriage. So I think everybody's backstory won't always be culture. Because if it was culture, I mean, melting pot, but baby, I don't want that in 12 episodes. I don't want that all the time, So after this week, I can be done with culture for like 2 more episodes. I want to see
Listen, I'm just salty they canceled Family Karma. And so when I saw that she was coming,
they canceled that?
Yeah, they haven't officially renewed it at all. I'm very upset about that. So I was excited. They were like, cool, we're going to see it, but hasn't happened. Anyway, this scene, Jessel, like, we keep saying Ubah's the comedic relief, but like Jessel being completely unaware that she comes off uncaring, unempathetic, and unknowing is literally that. Like, somebody in the comments were saying Kourtney Kardashian. It literally is that. She delivers everything with just this certain aura of just like, blank. I really don't understand how you are not seeing my point of view right now. And it's great. I love it so far.
Did she say if she was the only child or not?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't remember, honestly. I mean, also what we learned from Jessica, she really doesn't care about anybody but herself, so she probably wouldn't talk about her other siblings.
Right. The more. Say it again.
No, I was gonna say I wonder why she didn't say anything to him about that dress that she didn't, the gown that she didn't like. Did she mention the gown itself?
Oh, sorry. No, she's talking about the gown, and it goes into them talking about their lack of sex. And this again had me howling because she is like so upset about that. He's like, oh, okay. Like, doesn't say, well, we should change that. I'm down to have sex. Let's do something. He's like, oh, okay. I'm like, my God, this man do not like her. I felt bad for her. You know what it's giving me? It's given me very OC season 1 Don and Vicky, where Don is just like, girl, please leave me alone. Like,
I
go over
didn't watch
there.
them girls.
Chase don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I didn't watch them girls. But I feel like the more we see the episodes, the more I feel like my square, the more I feel like this is the cast that Ebony should have been on.
I've said that in the group chat, and they tried to stone me. Sammy called me loud and wrong. Chase called me loud and wrong.
Do you think Ebony would have been as like these girls? They seem to all minus Jenna, when she's open to it, like to have fun. When I see Ebony and what I saw, I didn't get fun. I got lawyer.
Ebony reminds me of
the cast that she had.
Ebony.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
maybe they should put her on something else, and then I want to test her out. But I don't know if she would mesh that well with this group. I think
Leah would be a good fit. I think Leah and Ebony like would have fit really well. But I don't want to see Leah on my TV again.
For because Leah gonna be over here on her period with no panties on and passing out. Because that's what
diarrhea in a store.
And diarrhea in the store. Yeah,
pooping in a store
would be great.
Oh my god.
All right, moving on. All right, so Jenna's over at Aaron's house, and they're getting together to talk about the upcoming Friendsgiving and stuff. And for those who are seeing, if y'all remember, I think it was last week or the week before when they were talking about Jenna leaving the house early, and Aaron was like, "I'm so mad," and then she actually got in front of Jenna. She's like, "It's fine, I love you," and I said, "It sounds like, or it looks like she's really looking for Jenna's approval." This scene cemented that Aaron is looking for Jenna's approval. She was, "Oh my God, it's so good to see you. You're gorgeous. Look at my titty mugs." And like, isn't this the cutest thing? You can have it. It's my mother's. It's an heirloom. And, she gave it to me, but I want you to take it. I was like, girl, like,
She reminds me of Heather from from Salt Lake City.
Oh, God, please.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Heather from New York. I also couldn't stand Heather from New York.
I don't like either Heathers.
No Heathers. So Jenna brings a gift that her and Jessel picked out together, and Aaron, in a little bit of passive-aggressive shade, says she's not going to open it in front of Jenna in case she doesn't like it. So then there's a flashback of Jenna telling Jessel that, I apologize. I'll be more direct in the event that, there's something that you do that offends me. Jessel's like, yeah, just tell me when I do something wrong. I promise I'm going to take accountability. And I'm like, no, you're not. You absolutely will not. But I also don't think that we're going to have to wait that long to see if it actually happens. So Jessel is talking to her husband. They're switching back and forth between these scenes, and she's telling her husband that she called Sai and Aaron cackling hags over the nightgown situation because she felt they were really egging the situation on and were the main ones that were kind of dogpiling on her.
Mm-hmm.
Cut back to Aaron and Jenna, and Aaron is like, did Jessel say anything about me? And Jenna's kind of giggling. And I know that we said Jenna may not know how to play the housewife game, that she may seem uncomfortable. This was Jenna playing the housewife game. She was like, oh, I don't know if I should say, but she called you a cackling hen. And I'm like, yes, get into the gossip, get into the shit. I loved it. She's not as innocent as she looks. And I mean, obviously you survive fashion industry in New York for as long as you have, and you're in and out of meetings and curating friendships and relationships, and you know how to play the game. Both of them do agree, like we have here, that they like Jessel, but she does come off a little bit entitled and may not realize that some of the stuff that comes out of her mouth is offensive. And Jenna says she seems like she's trying a little too hard. So yeah, we break, and we'll do this. Ask for some feedback on here before we move into the final end of the show. What did you think of this little scene with Jenna finally being messy?
I would say that I think Jenna was being messy just because of the way Jessel was with her dress.
I think Jenna was bothered, big time bothered.
She's bothered, and I think everyone around her is kind of rallying her up to make her more bothered. Had it just happened and nobody said anything, Jenna wouldn't even thought about it. But everybody else is saying, you said this and you said I'm like a Christmas tree and stuff like that. So it just made Jenna more upset, and is working. And so she tapped into her, okay, let me be a little messy, because she knew what she was doing. So I didn't mind her doing it. I mean, cackling hags, is that really a bad thing? The hag part, maybe, but maybe she said cackling hens. I don't know.
I think she said hags.
I think she said both.
I just really wish they would just kind of like stop trying to act like she's the only one complaining. Because like I said, Sai, to me, from watching the show, I think Sai is worse than Jessel. I think Sai has
Sai's
said a
worse
lot of things.
to Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, because
Sai's worse to Aaron.
Aaron,
I will
like,
let Aaron breathe.
yeah, and Aaron is, my thing is, I'm kind of tired of Aaron. She's just kind of sucking up to everybody. She's like, every scene, she's trying to do something for somebody else to make sure that she has the right impression. I'm sick of that. Like, she needs to stop being a damn puppet, because clearly thus far she's doing so much and trying to keep up or make sure make everyone else happy. And it's just like, girl, like, we're losing who you are, because everything you're doing is for somebody else. I don't know.
I think
you had to get that off your chest.
Right. I thought he was about to say, I wish she would stop acting like a damn bitch.
That too. I mean, all of it. I'm sick of it. But what I'm saying is, by my statement, Sai and the other girls are making Aaron into a damn bitch. Like,
yeah.
So I think they're the ones that say things. Aaron may act like she's not offended, but she is offended because she's doing things. She's changing things around just for them. So yeah.
I'd be like, girl, I don't care if it's too cold. I don't care if you don't want to eat this. I don't care if you don't like this coffee.
I will be like,
well, what I got.
Yeah.
I think that Sai complains more and is a little more annoying in that sense. However, Sai also complains and still goes with the flow. She complains and does it with a laugh and with a smile. I think that's why people are not taking it as the same as they take it with Jessel. Jessel's very much, I'm gonna complain and I'm like serious about it. Sai is very much a go with the flow type of girl. And I think it's based off of how she was raised. It's like, she did come from humble beginnings, of course, like we know. So it's one of those things to where, yeah, you might have changed your thread count on your, not thread count, changed your, what is the count on the toilet tissue? You might want more.
Apply, not the thread count.
Apply. I'm thinking of the
toilet paper you're using. Damn. You using the organic baby diapers.
I'm in my Porsche bag right now. But no, I think that's why people take to it differently. Also, Jenna gave me very much Cynthia Bailey in that scene. It was like, I'm gonna drop a little nugget, throw my little shade. As Nene would say, throw your little shade, Cynthia. So that was cute for Jenna, because she, of course, comes off quirky, like she's not that girl. But I really think that Jenna Lyons is that girl, or can be that girl, I should say.
But the thing is, she will probably come off like a little like an LVP. I'm not going to be the loudest. I'm not going to get up there, and you're not going to see me screaming and going. Jenna, you're not going to see me back and forth. But when I have something to say, people will naturally gravitate to me. I will be shady as hell. Like, I will say what's on my mind. And I hope she may be a little more likable, because Lisa Vanderpump is a little insufferable. But I like that she's getting active. I like that she's getting active. I like that she's playing the game a little bit. Everybody, I think, right now is doing their job. And I think the girls are going at Erin because she's such an easy target to get riled up, because she wears everything on her face. And when they were all watching what happened live, they were poking at Erin, and she was trying so hard to keep it together. So, but I mean, she also has shown that she's not afraid to, like, okay, you're annoying me, and I'm going to shut this down. So I'm interested. So far, I'm enjoying all of their dynamics. So let's see. Okay.
I will say really quickly, I would say in general, in terms of complaining again, I don't like either type of complainers. The person that complains and does it, and the person that complains and doesn't do it. To me, you're still complaining and you're getting on my damn nerves. So I can't. I don't think either one of them are any better.
If I'm hungry, I'm hungry.
Right. But you know what? And you know
feed me
to eat. Because
you need to feed me. You hosting? Like I said, I'm not having nobody at my house and not eating.
Hold on, what Candy do when she hungry? She gets something to eat. Okay, Sai, you ain't poor. You brought your pie, bring you a sandwich and chicken salad in your purse. Okay, stop it. Stop acting like you don't have resources to give food. Like, it's not their responsibility. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so the guests are starting to arrive for Friendsgiving. Brynn is first. I think she looks absolutely gorgeous. This little Marilyn Monroe kind of cool world Kim Basinger updo with that little white number. I thought she looked fantastic. My God, Sai. Sai's dress is hideous. This print, it looks like a burlap sack. Beautiful construction, beautiful silhouette. for the person who is the fashion influencer, Sai is just like very Joanne's, very homemade, very drag race sewing challenge. Like I hate everything. She looked
my
really good from
God.
here up. Very good from here up.
I loved
Ubah
everything.
I'm gonna ask the fashion opinion in just a second because I want to hear from you. Because word on the street is you are the Marlo of the Real Housewife with your fashion. With your fashion, you're the fashion girl. You're the Marlo. Ubah is next, and in this little gold lame type situation, like everybody can just go home. Like Ubah, like there's no reason for you to be here looking as gorgeous as you do. Jenna pops up. And even though like I always predict what Jenna's going to wear because it's just like I know what your aesthetic is, like the way that she pieces together clothing and different articles and layers and stuff, like her sense of style is very much Jenna Lyons, and I love it. Like she looks just like effortlessly chic. Erin is the last one to arrive. She looks, understated. I don't think she realized they were dressing up, so she looks very mild. But now it is her turn to complain because Sai is like, hey, there's no shoes allowed in my home. And Erin is like mortified. Like, I would never ask somebody to take their shoes off. And the fact that she, out of everybody, was the one that said that is very telling, that she doesn't take her shoes off inside people's homes. Jessel, my God. Thank God she's a pretty girl because that chunky, ripped up sweater and that sparkly clear skirt, I want her out of here.
It was bad.
Chad, what do you think of the fashion maven? Come on, baby Smith. What do you think?
I hated I hated Sai's table. Really hated the table. It was a lot going on.
She was unloading from the dishwasher. She was unloading silverware from the
I didn't
dishwasher.
catch that. Oh my God. Sai is a round the way girl. She told y'all she's a round the way girl.
But she's like she picks and chooses when she want to be round the way, and then she want to. It's giving like new money. That's what they give. Like, girl, you forget what you came
from. As it should be.
It probably is new money.
But it is. But sometimes I'd be like, okay, do you want us to get up, like understand and empathize with your background, or you want us to get who you are now? I get confused sometimes.
Well, she haven't really gave us like a reason to like empathize with her background because she seems to like be living in the moment now. I do think that we might get an episode where we'll dive into like whatever has shaped her to be who she is. I don't know. Hopefully we do. But all in all, aside, I love what she had on. I loved her whole little get up. I'm also a fan of her fashion, so I'm a little biased. Ubah, I hated the outfit.
What?
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Hold up.
Size fashions?
Yes, have you been on her Instagram?
No, I'm saying
no. We're talking about the show. We're talking about the show.
I know. I like what she had on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You look like
I enjoyed
what she. I enjoyed what I had on. It's not changing.
Can anybody move you? Can anybody move you?
Hold on, let me move him. Hold on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to move you.
My God, you are always so loud and wrong.
I didn't like Ubah's outfit. I'm sorry. I didn't like it. Brynn looked
Cortez,
really
what are your
cute.
thoughts?
I really agree with you. I didn't think Sai's dress was anything to talk about. I mean, Jessel was kind of sad. Fashion was not really in that house. Between the table set up and the dresses and the gowns, everything was just like a plate full of food just smashed together. It was a whole lot going on, and I just didn't really. I was kind of one. It looked like
maybe it was reflective. Maybe it was reflective of Brynn's life all over the place.
Oh my!
I'm not rooting for her.
I'm so glad that Jessel is a beautiful woman, but I am so confused at how she was upset that negligee didn't fit her body right because I haven't seen her wear a damn thing that looks good on her body. Like you wore a potato sack cut up over the shoulder and draped it and paired it purposely with a glittery dress.
Okay.
Like Jenna said on the last episode, you work in fashion. You should know better.
You should know better.
That's how I feel about Sai. Because Sai, she may be on Instagram, it's giving great, but then on this show, I haven't seen anything that's like Okay, she's an influencer because she ain't influencing me.
She didn't influence me. She influenced me to go to somebody else's page.
And
She influenced Rihanna.
Okay.
Who? When? What era? Because that's going
I
to be
just
very
made that
telling.
up.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
just
made
like,
that
that's okay. You're a damn liar. I'm over here like, hold on, let me look at my phone. But quick thing, I will say this: if Erin was a true housewife and somebody, not somebody's doormat, she would have brought some 2-ply damn tissue paper and said, "Well, I gotta take my shoes out. I brought it to wipe the bottom of my shoes out. See what it is, something. I don't know. That's what I would get."
She's not smart enough for that. God bless her. I will say, I love that Jenna was like, "I'll take off my shoes. I also brought slippies for everybody. You could put your feet in this." Like, I'm like, "All right, Jenna, you better be thoughtful." Okay, so Jessel comes in, and in an attempt to try to convey human emotion, she goes up to Erin and gives her condolences for her mother passing, which apparently the wake or the service was literally that day, or her grandmother's funeral, excuse me. So she's trying to have a conversation. It's really awkward. Anytime you talk about somebody passing, like the conversation's always going to be awkward, which is why it's better just to be like, "I'm so sorry for your loss. If there's anything you need, you let me know." No, but Jessel just continues to try to have a conversation, and it's becoming increasingly awkward. And so Erin's kind of running with it. It's like, "Yeah, great. My grandmother's great. The service was beautiful." And Jessel says, "Well, so sorry. Hope today went well. Sorry," and immediately leaves the conversation. And Erin is just kind of like flabbergasted. And this is just another. I'm crying because Jessel really does not understand. She doesn't understand how to interact with people. And I want to know if she was raised in a bubble or just like in someone's basement, because I don't know how you think that just like pivoting. Like, I love that Erin laughed it off, but I was just like, "Babe, like, do you not know basic human empathy?"
It could be also, a lot of, this is no shade, a lot of Indians are like that. They are very
And she's
like,
British too. Like, girl, we don't care what you're going through.
yeah, on top of that, she's British. It's like, I kind of understand because her mom also seems like she's probably the same way.
Yeah. She wasn't very emotional when Jenna was kind of all over her, hugging on her, like, "Oh, like, you're the mom I never had." And she's like, "Okay, thank you."
Like I feel like she was raised like that.
So the girls go upstairs, and Erin, of course, can't wait to tell Ubah and Brynn about what Jessel said about them. Ubah can't pronounce cackling, and I'm actually surprised that Brynn didn't like make this into a huge ordeal, because we know last episode she made it a huge ordeal about Jenna leaving the house and her not getting the silent treatment the way that Brynn got. So we're all sitting at dinner, and it's a nice little dinner. The table is really small. Like, you've got 18 people at this table, and it's a 2-seater. Like, my God. But they're starting to talk about the day, and everybody's kind of like, "Okay, well, Brynn, why don't you start off? Say something about this, since we're all kind of here for you." And immediately Brynn kind of gets emotional and is like, "No, I don't want to, I don't really want to talk about this." And in her confessional, she's really getting choked up, saying that, to production, "We're not talking about this today. I don't want to talk about this." And as we see the scene unfold, we learn that holidays are really, really difficult for her because she doesn't have family. She mentions that, she has family, but they're not good people. She doesn't have a relationship with them. We see the onion layers starting to peel. Her mother had her and her siblings when she was a teenager. Her father was substantially older than the mom. From kind of the little bit of information she's insinuating, her father got into some legal trouble, was out of the home. This was when, Chad, you mentioned earlier, she said, the 2 people that were supposed to love me didn't, and corrected herself and said couldn't. She starts breaking down, talking about how she was 6 months old. They were Section 8, welfare. And the part that really, really broke me was she was saying, like, they were just gone. I was left unattended for days. Nobody picked me up. I didn't have any food. My diaper wasn't changed. And apparently that's when, CPS stepped in and remove them from the home. And then the episode just kind of ends there. And I think with all the frivolous stuff that we can kind of get lost in, this episode was a lot of frivolity, right? It was a lot of filler, a lot of just silliness, a lot of petty stuff. But to see all of them, like Jenna's crying, Ubah's breaking down, like we see the women genuinely listening to Brynn kind of shed this facade of this perfect, giddy, sex crazed, flirty housewife and saying, like, I'm actually kind of a broken girl who hasn't fully come to terms with where I came from. And I think for an arc of a housewife, if we get more honest moments like this from Brynn, she could be one of like the best housewives that we've seen on any franchises if she opens up the way that she did. So Tez, let's start with you. What did you think about this? Because you haven't necessarily been a huge Brynn fan.
I'm not a Brynn fan. I just, she's just not somebody. I'm like, I think the world is like oozing over her. Most people are, from first episode, it was kind of like Brynn, because she's loud and she's like out there, but I'm just not like oozing for her. But in this moment, my heart goes out to her. I do see a comment from Prince J, which how I felt. It's amazing how much Brynn can remember at 6 months old.
I'm sure the details were told to her.
No. It lets me know that she has a lot of pain and undealt with issues that I hope that she deals with. Unfortunately, being on this show is not going to help that. And it looks like it's never too late, right? But this is the kind of healing and stuff you want to identify with before coming on a show like this, because now it can either be used against you, who you become because of it is what everyone else is getting. We know right now that she's not on the best terms with everybody right now, and so not saying she's the problem, but that lets me know that although she has all these things in the past, where I'm like, oh, there's still some things about her that's just not right. And that's going to help, mess up these relationships she has with people. So, very bold, very deep to talk about. And I just want to see, I feel bad for her in holidays. I can't relate to that, but to not have family, not have that has to be a lot. So shout out to Sai for doing that for her. Because Friendsgiving is a big thing. It's like very common now in this generation. We are more with friends than family. So hopefully she knows that you may not have depth family, but she has people even when she's clearly, making them enemies. So but for Sai, that was like you did that.
Yep. I thought it was like we said in the beginning, it was very touching that she has all that going on in her life and the trauma. I think I read something that you posted earlier, Jamie, either was today or yesterday maybe, but you were saying how clearly everything that she does and how she presents herself is a mask for the trauma that she's been through. And it was pretty much evident for me once, because the way she broke down, it wasn't just like it wasn't that fake Housewives breakdown that Marlo does and stuff like that. It was a real scene of her actually feeling away, So I really appreciated it. Sai was definitely a real one for doing that for her. That was it. I do want to know, or I should say, I want to see like a picture of her parents just to I don't know what it would do for me, but I feel like it would do something for me and like break another wall down. I don't know how I'm even trying to explain that, but something about her parents' dynamic is like, I feel like I need to visually see it in order to really understand, the story and how she presented it. Because to be fair, what Prince JD said, you don't remember that much from 6 months. So I'm like, did somebody remind you? Do you have like an on and off relationship with your mom? And, she started walking out of your life. Like, what is it exactly? So I just need some type of visual to put it together, to try to piece stuff together for myself.
The thing that really stuck out to me was she made it a point to say her mother had them when she was a teenager and her father, who was older. She made it a point to say her father was an older man. That already gave a dynamic that the dad obviously
was like a rape.
The dad was not a teenager. May have been whether it was a statutory, because I mean, she said that the parents were there and the parents tried and they were on Section 8. So, and then the dad got into some trouble and left. But I mean, growing up in that dynamic, and then you've got to remember, like, she stayed with her mother's mother. So I can only imagine a story or a narrative of being told of what your childhood was like from somebody who may have wanted to protect their child, and given that Brynn begrudgingly and cautiously was giving us piece by piece by piece, I do not see her sharing much more about the family, or at least pictures or anything regarding that family, because it does not sound like she has any kind of relationship with them. And because her grandmother passed, didn't she? Was that mentioned, or did I just like imagine that?
I feel like she mentioned that, but I'm not sure.
I think she said that last when they were around in the fire.
I do think she said she passed.
I think so. I can't remember, but it's the dynamic is weird regardless, and you can tell Brynn is absolutely overcompensating for something in the way that she interacts. Somebody in the comments mentioned that there were stories that she owed bills and she almost got evicted when she lived in California and stuff. And that actually would fit the brand of somebody who, when shit gets tough, I'm just going to up and like leave. I ran out of 3 engagements. I can't stay committed. When you're deeply hurt like that, the last thing you want to do is sit in something and actually deal with real stuff. And so I agree kind of with Cortez. Housewife may not be the best place to go through your therapy and go through your healing. Or it could be the best place because now you're forced to not hide from stuff anymore. So we'll see what we got from Miss Brynn. All right. Do we have any callers currently in the queue?
We do not. I'm looking at the comments and I was seeing the people are not here for Brynn's story. Some people.
Oh,
Prince J is like, it's a lie.
Who is Prince J?
Evan has not like Brynn since
Hold on now.
Started. So listen, you want to talk about me not liking Brynn? You have people in the comments that don't.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Dang.
Prince J told me he liked Brynn, so I'm really surprised.
Yeah, you know Prince J, right? Yeah.
I'm really surprised that. I'm really
shocked.
Surprised that he doesn't like her.
So he put gagged. So it sounds like he's no. I got it.
I mean, the way that she was crying, she's either an Oscar-winning actress or she's telling the truth. Because I've never seen a housewife be that convincing when they cry outside of Erica Jane.
And let me say that if Drew got up there and said this, I would say, okay, this may be some lies. And that's just
because of who Drew is.
That's because of some things that she said that just have not come to be true. But right now, I'm gonna give the doubt to say this is all true. And she would maybe let's say maybe it was fabricated to the sense of she don't know how long her diaper was before it would change, right? But in terms of like what happened and how that basically she was pulled out of a home, and I think all of that is true.
Yeah. And because let's be honest, CPS does not remove children from a home and place them with an elderly grandparent, 3 of them, without good cause.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely something there going on. So, okay. Yeah,
we have no callers, so we can take
all right. Well, we are at the top of an hour, a little bit past. So for all of our viewers who are watching live and participating in the chat, thank you guys so much. I see repeat people here. Thank y'all so much for joining us every single week on this brand new franchise. We're hoping to grow it. I'm enjoying it. If you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe. If you haven't already, share this to your Twitter, share this to your Instagram, share this wherever you share your social media. We want to get more viewers in. If you think your friend is going to like what we have to say, have them join next week live, 7:30 every Tuesday night. Have them call in, tell us what they want. Tez and Chad, it was very good to see y'all tonight. Thank you for joining me on my birthday episode. I appreciate it. I'll be waiting with bated breath for my gifts to be FedExed. Oh. My address is not. Just kidding. All right, guys. If that's going to be it, thank you all so much for joining. Sammy, please stay out of the comments. Like, damn, Sammy. Your name is all up in
keep commenting, Sammy. Keep commenting.
All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next time.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.